On February 26, 2007, during a regular season game against the Charlotte Bobcats, Shaun Livingston suffered what many consider one of the most devastating injuries in NBA history. In a single horrifying moment, his knee dislocated at the joint, nearly tearing every ligament. What should have been a routine layup turned into a career-altering nightmare. The sheer agony in his scream captured the unthinkable pain and shock of that moment.
No finish though by Shaun, and he's hurt,
leaving fans and teammates stunned. In this video, we'll dive into the remarkable journey of Shaun Livingston, one of the last high school to NBA prospects whose career is a testament to resilience and determination, an inspiration to many who have gone through horrific injuries. We'll uncover how he overcame a catastrophic near-career-ending injury to rise again as a pivotal role player in one of the NBA's last great dynasties of the 2010s. Growing up in Illinois, Shaun Livingston was one of the state's brightest basketball talents. Standing at 6'8", Shaun Livingston was a rare breed of point guard. Tall, fluid, and skilled, reminiscent of Magic Johnson and Penny Hardaway. But unlike today's stars who thrive beyond the arc, Livingston dominated the mid-range game. With his high release and smooth touch, his jumper was nearly impossible to contest, making him a nightmare for defenders. He led Peoria Central High School to back-to-back state championships and earned the prestigious title of Mr. Basketball in Illinois and was the co-MVP in the McDonald's All-American game. Though he initially committed to Duke, his status as the number 2 ranked player in the nation convinced him to take the leap straight to the NBA, bypassing college to begin his professional journey. With his exceptional size, fluid ball handling, and elite passing ability, Shaun Livingston was seen as a future franchise point guard. The Los Angeles Clippers recognized his potential and selected him with the 4th overall pick in the 2004 NBA draft, envisioning him as a cornerstone for their future. However, Livingston wasn't the franchise-altering point guard the Clippers had envisioned. While he showed flashes of brilliance, he struggled with consistency and health, missing 100 of one of the 246 games to injury in his first 3 seasons. Despite the growing pains, the Clippers were hoping for a breakthrough season in year 3, but disaster struck. On February 26, 2007, in a regular season game against the Charlotte Bobcats, Livingston attempted a layup off a steal, but as he planted his foot, his knee buckled in a way no one could have imagined. Former ESPN writer Mark Spears described the gruesome injury as like snapping his twig of a leg in half. Lying beneath the basket, writhing in agony, Livingston's screams echoed through the arena. In an instant, his once promising career hung in the balance, threatened before it had truly begun. Livingston's injury wasn't just devastating, it was nearly unprecedented. He tore his ACL, PCL, and lateral meniscus, sprained his MCL, and dislocated both his patella and tibiofibular joint. Brian Sutterer described Livingston's injury as possibly the worst in NBA history, not just because of how gruesome it looked, but because of the life-altering risks it carried. The real danger wasn't just the torn ligaments, it was the potential damage to the artery behind his knee. Fortunately, thanks to the quick thinking of the Clippers medical staff, disaster was narrowly avoided. Clippers team physician Dr. Steven Shimoyama acted swiftly, rushing to Livingston's side and repositioning his knee within 10 seconds. That quick action prevented further damage, and, as Shaun himself acknowledged, ultimately saved his career. However, Livingston wasn't out of the woods yet. By the time he was rushed to Centinela Hospital Medical Center, doctors feared the worst. They considered amputating his leg due to concerns that the popliteal artery behind his knee had been damaged or severed. Initially, he was frustrated that doctors had discussed the possibility of amputation without consulting him, but he soon realized they were simply doing their jobs, prioritizing his health and safety. Then, a sobering moment shifted his perspective. As he lay in the hospital, he watched as a gunshot victim was rushed in, fighting for his life. Okay, here it is. I have a knee issue, and this guy is fighting for his life. That moment put everything into perspective. While his injury was devastating, it wasn't life-threatening. But as Shaun would later admit, the journey ahead would still test him in ways he never imagined. I would have never thought that this kind of injury would ever happen on a basketball court. In fact, the doctors told me that my accident was like what you see from a car accident. I was told it was just a freak accident, the way I came down. Obviously, I'm very loose and long and double-jointed in a sense, but when I lost my balance, it could have just happened to anybody. I couldn't control it. In the days after, it was very hard, and you ask yourself, why me? Why did it happen to me? What did I do wrong? How could I have done it better? But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer that He puts us where He wants us to be. It's not about my purpose, it's about His purpose. So in having that that helped my mental ability to adapt and to accept what happened. Livingston didn't undergo surgery right away. He first had to wait for the inflammation in his knee to subside, but even during that downtime, he was focused on the long road ahead, searching for the best surgeons to help him recover. After extensive research and consultations, he chose renowned orthopedic specialist Dr. James Andrews, along with his colleague, Dr. William Clancy. Clancy, widely regarded as the father of ACL reconstruction, pioneered the technique of using a patellar tendon graft to replace a torn ACL, a groundbreaking method that gave Livingston the best chance at a comeback. After surgery came the toughest battle, rehab. Livingston teamed up with renowned rehab specialist Kevin Wilk to tackle the most grueling phase of his recovery. Regaining flexibility in his knee, with multiple tendons repaired, his knee felt stiff, hard as concrete, leaking pus, blood, everything, as he described it. Another major hurdle was the unbearable pain that came with rehab. As Kevin Wilk cranked on his leg to restore mobility, Livingston endured agony unlike anything he had ever felt. In fact, he later admitted that the rehab was even more painful than the injury itself. Because of the rarity of his injury, tearing multiple tendons at once, specialists from across the country flew to Alabama to assist in his recovery. While I was in Alabama, everybody wanted to work with me. It's just because of the injury I had. You don't find multi-ligament tears like that. So for them to have the opportunity to work with me, it pushed them as well. Being able to see how far that they could push me, how much flexion I could have, how quick they could get me back to doing some movement. It was an uphill battle every step of the way, but Livingston remained determined to reclaim his career. On June 16, 2008, after 16 grueling months of rehab, Shaun Livingston was finally cleared to play, but instead of a triumphant return to the Clippers, the team let him go. Once a prized lottery pick and a key part of the franchise's future, Livingston was now an NBA journeyman, struggling to find stability. Over the next 6 years, he bounced from team to team, Miami, OKC, Washington, Charlotte, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn, never staying in one place for long. The uncertainty of his career became a harsh reality. Without a fully guaranteed contract, he faced the constant risk of being traded, released, or forced to relocate. For someone who had spent his first 3 seasons as a cornerstone of the Clippers, adjusting to this new reality was yet another challenge in his already turbulent career. Once I got injured, that was the tip of my career. When I started to bounce around year to year, different teams, the biggest part is just the mental aspect of it, not knowing if you're going to be with that team the following year, sometimes being on a non-guaranteed contract. I was in a totally different position coming out of high school, being the number 4 pick in 2004 and the cornerstone of a franchise, to going to minimum deals, 10-day contracts, and the D-League. By his 7th season post-injury, Livingston finally felt the healthiest he had been in years and found much-needed stability with the Brooklyn Nets. He played a career-high 76 games, averaging 8.3 points and 3.2 assists off the bench. His strong play earned the trust of Nets head coach Jason Kidd, who started him in 10 of the team's 12 playoff games during their 2-round run in the 2014 postseason. Reflecting on his comeback in an interview with Mark Spears, Livingston shared a deeper realization. As I was starting to come back into the NBA, made a comeback and did better, I felt my purpose was to inspire people to get through hard times and struggle. I felt like that was a higher calling and bigger purpose, rather than who I was supposed to be as a player. In fact, the Golden State Warriors had already shown interest in signing Livingston before he joined Brooklyn, looking to fill a backup point guard role behind back-to-back MVP Stephen Curry. A year later, that opportunity finally came. On July 11, 2014, Livingston signed a 3-year, $16.3 million contract with the Warriors. Shaun Livingston made an immediate impact in his first season with Golden State, averaging 6.3 points and 3.3 assists across 76 regular season games. But his true value shined in the playoffs, where he played a key role in delivering the Warriors their first championship in 40 years, kickstarting a dynasty. Warriors GM Bob Myers believed no one on the team appreciated the title more than Livingston. He had an authentic kind of gratification that resonated within him, Myers said. He would say, "What's up, champ?" Often in this business, you move so fast that you don't take time to appreciate what you've accomplished. But Shaun had seen the valley, and now he had reached the mountaintop. For Livingston, it was a surreal moment. I won the championship, not just made it to the playoffs. There were times I just wanted to make the playoffs. Now we won. It was crazy. The rest, as they say, is history. Golden State went on to reach the finals 4 more times, winning 2 additional titles. Livingston became a key part of their dynasty, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest role players in Warriors history. After the grueling 2019 finals, a 6-game battle against the Toronto Raptors that ended in defeat, Livingston decided to walk away from the game. His career had come full circle, closing a remarkable chapter of perseverance, redemption, and triumph. Another legend who overcame adversity, but of a different kind, is the Lakers icon Kobe Bryant. Watch this video to learn more about the 24 facts you may not know about him, some of which may shock you